The time is 4:30 and we will call the Public Utility District #1 of Skagit County Board of Commissioners meeting to order. It is March 14th, 2023, and ask that you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, so I will be asking for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I motion that we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, consent agenda is adopted. Next, we have audience comments. If you're in the audience wishing to offer comment, please step to the podium. If you're on Zoom, use the raise your hand function. Sorry. Nobody's raising their hands, so we will move on.
I think these items are not correct. Start the manager's report. Which is no.
Oh, okay. All right, so we will next move into the manager's report.
Okay.
And George, you are up.
All right, so I'll take the manager's report is 5. We'll do community relations department update is 6, and then the strategic plan implementation is 7. Maybe.
What is it on?
Yeah, okay, online, it's the same way. We'll just have to renumber the items, but no big deal. All right. Good afternoon, commissioners. Got a little bit of an update for you on a few different things that we've been working on. Internally, been having our department coffee chats in smaller groups. So last week had one with the customer service department. Talked about current projects and initiatives with a focus on the building design and construction. So that was a good meeting. And the next one that we're going to have is with the IT department, and that's going to be next week. So, and then I think the last group left is finance, and then we're going to start over again with everybody. So the cycle ends up being about 4 months, I think, something like that. So 3 meetings a year if we're lucky. Yesterday, I had a meeting with Mayor Boudreau down in her office, and with, let's see, we have a verbal agreement on the option that was presented by City Council on improving 2 of the city's parks as a replacement for the play fields that we have here. So we have the verbal, and Peter is working now with the city's attorney on getting an MOU over to the city so we can get a written agreement in place and then just do all the work afterwards, improve the fields, allow our building permit and everything to go through. And so we're hoping by the end of the month, we'll have our MOU with the city on the play fields. This is a better option in improving the 2 parks. And everything I've heard is that the council is fully supportive of it and we'll be able to move forward. Good. Let's see, this week, the WPUTA meetings are virtual, Wednesday through Friday. So if you had the opportunity to sign up, I think the commission orientation tomorrow is for public meetings, right? I know you can't go, but it's for Robert's Rules of Order and going through all the meeting stuff. So they had limited signups available. And then Thursdays, all the department committee meetings. I think the water committee is meeting that afternoon. So if you don't have your schedule, I think Mark's going to attend as well. Perfect. So next Tuesday, so I just sent this email out an hour ago or an hour and a half ago, but on the 21st, there's a couple things happening here locally. There's an all-day workshop at the Skagit Valley Inn, the old Best Western. And so that's an all-day workshop with Department of Health. And so that's CEUs, it's educational, it's right, there's training involved. And then after the workshop, I think it starts at 5 o'clock, there's the Water Olympics at the Blue Taco restaurant that's there. And so typically, well, it's going to involve the best tasting water contest. So that's going to be a local best tasting water. We'll have at least one, probably two samples there, along with other local utilities. And then since Mark's here, I don't know what other contests they have. Wait, what is planned? Meter challenges. So they're going to put together meters, take parts that are in a bucket and try and put the meter together, timed.
Maybe a hydrant.
Maybe, we're not sure about that one yet, okay. So, the competitions that happen, the best tasting water, the meter, and the hydrant. For the people, whoever wins here, then they'll go to the Northwest Section Conference in Kennewick in May. And then compete there, and whoever wins there will go to the national conference in Toronto in June. So, I think the hydrants didn't get shipped out in time, I think, something like that. We're not sure. So maybe Mike and his crew will be putting together a hydrant next Tuesday in the parking lot. So if you can come, it's just a kind of a networking thing, if not anything else. And so you can register on that email that I sent you. It's no cost to attend the after workshop event. And then also next week, we're meeting with the school district to continue discussions about their interest in our building. So that kind of got put on the back burner for a little while we were working with the city on the play fields, but we're starting that up again. And then Kathy mentioned this at the last meeting, but we've got 3 new maintenance technicians that were hired, and they're starting next Monday. So lots of onboarding to do and training to do for all of them. And that's my update, unless there's any questions. Okay, we started, you noticed we started a new process for signing. Shannon asked me whether we should just start that today, and I said, sure, why not? We'll just dive right into it.
I think we're all signed.
So good.
We're all good.
That's gonna be, that'll work. It'll save some paper and all of that as well.
Very good. So are we going to community
Kevin, yeah.
relations?
Yeah.
So I'm going to work in coordination with Nick here, since the little advancer's not working, the batteries or something. So good evening. I'll provide you some information about our community relations activities since my last update back in mid-December. So it's been a bit. I'll start with some of our outreach efforts. And we continue to do our outreach with our elected officials. As you know, we were planning to do a tour with Congressman Larson tomorrow, but and going to the microhydro project and then over to the HDD site. However, the congressman had a scheduling conflict. We got bumped. So we need to reschedule that tour for the future. Part of the tour discussion that we were planning to have was to include the proposed microhydro partnership with Mount Vernon School District to power their high school campus. And we've submitted an application actually yesterday with Representative Larson's Office for Community Project funding for the microhydro system and some charging stations there. So hopefully we'll be as successful with securing funding as last year with the Alger pipeline relocation project. So on to some fun stuff. So on Thursday, April 20th, from 5 to 8 p.m., we'll be at the Mount Vernon High School Science and Technology Night. Exhibitors include local businesses and organizations that use science, technology, engineering, and mathematics as part of their daily work, as well as colleges and universities that offer degrees in STEM-related fields. So pre-COVID, this event usually drew about a couple thousand people. So our booth was usually very, very busy. So we're looking forward to seeing kids again, their faces being engaged. So that'll be fun. And then on Saturday, April 23rd, the Thirst Buster will be back on the road at the Skagit Valley Tulip Run at the Port of Skagit. The PUD is an in-kind sponsor for this event, and just happens that Shannon is the race coordinator for that one. During May, Skagit Water Weeks will be running. This is a collection of events hosted by local organizations that teach about and celebrate water resources. This is by no random chance also coincides with their AWWA Drinking Water Week, which is May 7th and 13th, where we will be doing our ever popular community tours up at the Judy Reservoir. So we're trying to make the month of May all about water in Skagit County. And then Our updated 5-year strategic plan directs me and to seek opportunities to engage in water-related education. So one of the action steps for that objective is to partner with community engagement activities involving environmental and STEAM, STEM with arts included, resources in the Skagit watershed. And to that end, I sit on the Skagit Watershed Council's Community Engagement Committee, and which produces a printed Skagit environmental and STEAM resources guide for K-12 educators. And so taking it to the next level, I've agreed to spearhead the development of a Skagit STEAM website to enable teachers to better find STEAM related programs available for classrooms, such as our Story of Drinking Water field trips that we offer at Judy Reservoir. So the plan is to launch the site before the school year starts in the fall. So next we have our earned and print media. We continue to gain positive news coverage and also be recognized nationally on several fronts. For example, the industry publication Municipal Sewer and Water Magazine featured our new raw water pump station, the Judy Reservoir, and this project has received significant positive media coverage in the last year. We're also mentioned in several news publications about the Alger Interstate 5 waterline relocation project and how we received $2 million in funding as part of WSDOT's culvert replacement project to enhance salmon recovery. So we got some good quotes there from George. It's all good stuff. Next. The pipeline newsletter is our content source for other communication channels, and we've recently had articles in the March-April issue on repairing silent leaks due to faulty toilet flapper, Skagit Farm to Pine Ale Trail, passport program, creating low maintenance landscapes this summer, and updating the 5-year strategic plans, all noted there. So we have about 5,700 paperless bill customers who elect to receive our electronic version of the pipeline newsletter, and we continue to also put a printed version in all the bill statements. So we continue to grow that. Social media, we continue to expand our use of social media to engage our customers. Facebook continues to be our most active platform and reaches and provides our largest reach. We had over 60,000 post impressions for the Ale Trail passport probes. So I'm assuming they all like beer. So on Facebook, we have greater reach and more views. We're getting info out. It's less expensive than advertising in the newspaper for sure. With the cold weather, we had a post in late February. We reminded customers to be prepared and insulate vulnerable water pipes to prevent breaks. That was very favorable. And we're right now across all our social media platforms, we're highlighting the micro hydro project using the video from the Innovation Nation program that was taped. That's and also just became available on YouTube. And the video is getting lots of views and comments and likes. For example, we had one comment, and I'll read it. Anytime we can get more good, clean energy, and that's fantastic, we need it ASAP, as much as possible. Good job, PUD, keep it coming. So, and then next week, March 20th, is Fix a Leak Week, and we plan to do online promotions for fixing leaks around the house, saving money and water. And so our new website. Finally, we're getting excited. We're getting closer, getting the new website. Shannon and I are finally getting the keys to the site tomorrow to begin working on it. We have a couple of training sessions this week. Once we get comfortable using the content management system, I'll be working with the departments to update their content to launch the site. So that's it for community relations.
Well done.
Very good. Website looks good from what we can see right there.
What you can see, yeah, it should be. I'm very tired of the old one.
The new one's gonna be able to be formatted to cell phones and
It's a
tablets, right?
responsive design. So if you've got a cell phone, it'll work on that. It'll work on a tablet, and it'll work on it. Yeah. So
That'll be helpful.
yeah, well, and so it'll all be integrated also with the Gov Delivery, the minutes, and the different programs that we have. So it'll be really nice.
Cool.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you. Okay, so now on to the strategic plan implementation update.
Yes, okay. I'll just touch on the last thing that Kevin said, because Commissioner Amber, you had a question about this earlier about the peak agenda management and just the website. The way we're putting, so the website allows us to put together the meeting packets
Mhm.
better. And so you might notice that in the packet that's posted, there's links. And then you can jump, it's to specific items and then the attachments and all of that as well. And so that's the back end. On the front end, all the managers and whoever's uploading the content, we've got a whole new way to do it. We used to just email things to Shannon and say, well, here's my memo and here's the attachments, and she'd have to put it all together. And now there's a platform where you can upload it. It alerts the next person in the review chain that something's been uploaded,
Okay,
and then she can review it. She has comments. It goes back to the first person. If she approves it, then it goes to me. So we're still getting used to it, but it's a much more streamlined process. And everybody's aware of where their item is
on the agenda.
on the agenda and on the review train as well. So that was, I think, a big part of the website improvement. And I think we're just going to get better and better at that. And it allows for people to be away and for somebody else to fill in as well. So that's just one other item with the website I think is really cool. But my item is related to the strategic plan. And so I'm just going to cover this briefly because it's all there. I don't want to go over it in a lot of detail, but we created a table. So Nick, if you click on the link and go to the table. So this is the implementation of the strategic plan. So we created the strategic planning document, which is higher level, public facing, lists our goals and strategies. But we as an organization need to take that into more detail. So this implementation focus is for 2023, and it lists all the goals and strategies and tactics that are in the strategic plan. But then there is detail on which one of those we're going to focus for this year, and what we're going to focus on, and what resources we need, and what the goal is for this year. So there's, I think, 4 pages. If you scroll down a couple of pages, Nick, we can just show the first page as an example, like this. So this is the first goal. It lists our strategies and tactics, and then there's additional columns that list what the focus is for this year, milestones. This will allow us to check our progress, see how we're doing, create an objective for the year. And so not every tactic is going to have information filled in. It's just what we're going to focus on for this year. We'll create department and staff goals from this as well. So this is what we intend to use more frequently than the strategic plan. That's just bigger and broader. So go ahead, read it. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Basically, internally, we're going to look at this more frequently, but for the board, I'll let you know what's going on, but the next formal update will be in August, right before we do budgeting. So the August update will be, here's what we've done for the last year. And then we'll look at what we want to focus on for 2024 and try and put those into the budget for 2024. So that's why we selected August as that update time.
Where are we at with SkagitNet?
So if we scroll down to the page, we are,
You just jumped out on me.
yes,
there.
it's the one that jumps out at us too. We need to still get a budget for this year. Our approach is that we're not contributing to the budget for SkagitNet this year. We need to clean up some of the books that for the last couple of years. And so it's with their finance group right now. The Port of Skagit Finance Director, Serki, is the one looking after the books for the SkagitNet. And we've been in contact with her. We're just waiting for her to be ready to have a meeting with us and say, okay, here's where we're at. Let's start from here for this year. I think she's wanting to clean it up more than she initially thought, so it's taking a bit longer. Our intent is to have quarterly meetings. But I asked Sarah to just, let's not have our first meeting until we're ready to just, get it all kind of wrapped up. That's why we haven't come to you with an updated budget either. To do it halfway, I don't think is worth it. So we want to get it all wrapped up. Our goal with Skagit Net, it's listed in there, is to be clear that we want to use Skagit Net resources to connect our assets. And that's still our primary concern. We will continue to support Skagit Net when we put in excess capacity on fiber for alongside the transmission line. It's primarily for us to be able to communicate with the treatment plant, but the excess capacity will be able to be used by Skagit Net. That's been our model, and we're going to still continue to use that model. But we may start branching outside of that to get more of our assets connected. We may start working with Ziply or Astound or some other companies as well. We're going to try and turn our attention back to what our needs are now that we've got the backbone built in Skagit County. So more to come. It's taking longer than I hoped to get an proper update to the board, but like I said, I'd rather just do it once and do it right.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Anything else in there jump out at you as far as goals or strategies? That second one that we're looking at right now, the communication with community members and partners, a lot of that is Kevin's work. He's got a lot in there to do with the sponsorships and the website and tours, education. So that one's pretty heavy, and that's a lot of that is going this year. The third goal is more about communication, internal communication. So there's a lot of items that I've been talking to you about, doing the monthly newsletter that Shannon's been putting out, doing those department coffee chats. So we've got stuff in there. But yeah, feel free to reach out and ask questions or clarifications.
Any other questions of George on that? Okay, so looks like we are moving on to agenda item 8, and this is Judy Reservoir Water Treatment Plant Disinfection Study. Mark.
That's impressive. Yeah, Mark.
You can hear. Okay, great. There's no green light. Let's see. So a while ago, I guess 2019, 2020, we did a water treatment plant condition assessment. And the purpose of that plan was to both assess the structural features of the water treatment plant, but ideally we wanted to look at what improvements we would need to make to our plant in the future to support our water needs and convey or treat the entire water right that is available to us and to serve our customers in the future. One of the things that came out of that plan, we look at a number of types of disinfection processes, from ozone to UV, ballasted flock, biological filters. But primarily to that too is the type of chlorine that we use in our disinfection process, and the residual chlorine that goes out into the systems. Right now we use chlorine versus free chlorine, and so this study is going to take a look at our disinfection process and recommend the type of chlorine we use, among other things, in the future that we want to implement and build into our system. And it's really going to be a pretty long study, actually. And the budget on this is over the course of two budget cycles. So we have 375 budgeted this year and 375 budgeted next year in our budget for next year, which of course isn't approved. So if you move forward with this, or if we do move forward with it like we would like to, you'll be committing to funding this project in 2024.
I have a couple questions. Sorry.
I might have to get a chemistry expert up here.
So one of my major questions, I know that a lot of plants have moved away from gaseous chlorine due to toxicity and more of employee danger and,
There has been a
That-
safety drive relative to that, yeah.
okay,
Mhm.
so that's kind of the main cause. The other thing I got from George is there has been supply chain issues in the past with gaseous chlorine. Has that been consistently occurring, or is that,
Yeah, that's my understanding.
Okay.
Mike Fox is here. Fortunately, he and Jamie purchased the chlorine, but yeah, we've had some problems, especially during the COVID period, but up until that, I think we've been
hadn't
somewhat
been too
okay.
bad?
There's less and less suppliers and getting more and more.
Yeah, I know that's the same issue we've had with hypochlorite, so I don't know if that would fix it, but other question. As far as, I'm assuming too, the other complex part for us is the distance in which we're traveling from our chlorination point to the actual tap or wherever it's being utilized is one of the main
Yeah, that
complications for us.
Yeah. that affects our residual chlorine, residual disinfectant. And we're gonna be looking at that too.
And right now, we don't have any rechlorination from, okay,
No, the chloramine, well, chloramines have a longer
Longer.
life. They're not as potent as pre-chlorine, but they do a
And
good job.
they're
For our
going to be giving us, I'm just read through the through the scope. So they'll be kind of giving us a scope of options, evaluating which one and pretty much coming up with here's our best recommendation based on budget, ability to meet your regulatory requirements, your cost effectiveness and.
Yeah,
what have
they're
you.
gonna,
Okay.
they're gonna test a couple of options and then we'll select from that.
See, they weren't that bad.
I'm just not, the chemistry isn't my thing, so.
I think a part of this too is the recommended options vary in cost depending on what we want to do. So commitment to a certain option will involve understanding what that downstream cost is, because it could be very expensive in
Absolutely.
terms of extra space.
Ozone's not cheap.
Yeah, it doesn't have a small footprint, so
Energy,
there's a lot of things that will play into the decision once we get the results.
absolutely. No, it's very complicated. I mean, wastewater is a little bit more simple as far as disinfection and it goes out to a certain point, but for water treatment, especially with this large of a distribution system, it's quite a bit more complicated, so. Thank you, sorry. Well, I motion to grant or award the 600,000. Sorry, I don't have the agenda. in front of me.
600
Authorize George to move forward and engage in a contract with. Sorry, Carollo Engineers for the total of $621,867.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that is adopted. And next up, we have some informational items in there. And news article, Judy Reservoir data report. Any commissioner comments this evening?
Me.
I just had a question on reservoir elevation. I noticed it's a lot different this year than last year, and I didn't know what. Just if you had any information on why.
Yeah, a lot of it's due to just availability for streamwise. Some of the things we've noticed in the last couple of years. Climate or so be it. There's been opportunities we've probably missed in a couple of places where we could have gathered some more water. But when we get like a few days of rain and then it stops, you get a big burst of dirty water in the streams. It's not really worth taking. We're trying to be selective on the water. Then by the time it quits raining and it's gone, they've gone back below the levels. So what really helps us is to have like a week or two of a quarter inch or a half inch of rain every day and turn the streams in for a week and collect for a while.
Wastewater.
March is a good month for doing it.
Yeah.
Leave it for long.
So this winter's been kind of weird that way, and we've had some challenges getting up there and opening the streams at certain times. We probably could have collected some more when we had availability, but not so much that would have really changed our graph. You see that graph over the past several years, we're still within that band. But you follow those lines and you can see year after year, it's almost the same. It's just sometimes a little lower, sometimes a little higher. And we're looking forward to the snow melt and all that. I think we're gonna be fine and hopefully get these pumps back in the ground and start pumping and bring it back up again. But
I think
not in
Baker
panic
got
mode yet.
27 inches in a day yesterday.
Yeah.
I don't know what percent snowpack's at right now, but I assume it's pretty good.
I don't think we're like California, but I think
Yeah,
we're right
no.
up there towards 100%.
Okay with that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Thanks.
yeah.
All right, so with that, there's no further commissioner comments. We are going to enter into an executive session for RCW 42.30.110 for potential litigation. The executive session is expected to last 15 minutes, and we will reconvene the meeting at 5:20 p.m.